guys, it's Glenn from Glenn'sCarCollection.com, and today we are driving one of my favorite cars, the 2022 Mustang Shelby GT500. Now, this generation of the GT500 has a dual clutch transmission, no more manuals. Can you believe that? I tried to do a video with DCH Acura. They had a beautiful blue one. It sold before I could drive down there. So this is a Ford press card. Thank you so much to Ford. And we have the $18,000 track package. That gives us the Cup 2s, the rear seat delete, these carbon fiber wheels, big Brembo brakes. Now these look like steel rotors to me. They don't look ceramic. I guess we'll find out when we drive. How do people know you bought the Shelby? Well, you have the Shelby symbol. Again, you have the $18,000 track pack that gives you the carbon fiber in the front and the rear and the spoiler. You have the deleted rear seats. It says do not put anybody back there. Thank you for it. Beautiful interior, Alcantara with leather trim, white piping, Recaro seats. Recaro seats, in my opinion, are the best. It's a little tricky to do this hood. Let me show you how to do it. So we pull this, that's easy enough, right? But I've tried this like 10 times off camera, so I hope it works. You have to push down both of these pins like you got some kind of NASCAR or something. Push down one, and you got to make sure it's all the way down. That's the tricky part. Push down two, and now when you're 100% sure it's all the way down, you got to jam your finger. I have big hands, and then you could open it with the latch here. Yep, see, this one always sticks. Now this is, Ford just got this press car here today, so it's probably pre-production and they haven't done the kinks out of it. So there we go. Yay, second try. It took me 10. So here you got the supercharger right on top. You got your air intake, you got your fluids, you got your fuses, and it's nice. I mean, it looks cool with the supercharger. You have a chassis brace here up top. All right, so let's take a look inside the car. It could be a tight fit. I'm 6 feet tall, so if you're taller, it may be a little harder. Basic Ford Mustang doors here, your lock, unlock, your mirror controls, your stereo. This does not have an upgraded sound system that I could see. I do like the carbon fiber trim. That's really nice. To start the car, push button down here. Whoa, listen to that sound. Now, I love how they did the tachometer. If you saw my Bullet video, they did very similar there. And I think they did a real good job. It almost reminds me like in my S2000. Big difference. Parking brake is here. Now, because it's an automatic, you have the dial here. So reverse gives us a nice reverse camera. I haven't gotten in reverse yet. Obviously, neutral, drive, and you press M to drive in manual mode. Your HVAC controls, now you have exhaust controls here, which will show up on this screen, I believe, if I remember correctly. Okay, so normal exhaust, that's quiet mode. You don't want to wake the neighbors. Then you press it again to sport, and then you press it again to track. So we will go in track mode. And then your regular controls here to go through the menus, phone, cruise control. We're not using any of that. Paddles are actually nice and sturdy. These are better paddles than most manufacturers give. Now, we also have a mode button next to the exhaust. And with the mode button, again, we have to look back at this screen when we do it. We could drive in normal mode, sport, which we were driving before, track, which takes the nannies off that Ford won't want me to do, so we'll have to drive in sport, and then drag strip mode. So this is a straight line car, as we'll find out. We're gonna take it through some turns and we'll see. All right, so now we're in sport mode. So let's drive in manual mode. We have our gauges here for oil temperature and oil pressure, very important. So we're gonna put it in drive with the dial. The Recaro seats fit good to my body type. I'm 180 pounds, 6 feet tall, so try before you buy. Now we're going to press manual mode, and it goes from D now to manual. So we've been averaging, oh, I thought it showed our gas mileage there. It did not, which is a good thing. All right, so the engine, which we took a look at, 5.2 liter V8 supercharged, 760 horsepower, and 625 foot-pounds of torque. All right, so let me give you first impressions on the Shelby GT500. Now, it's a dual clutch transmission for the first time ever. So let's give it the beans on some of these herds and see what we think of it. So first things first, it feels probably bigger than it is. You can feel the weight of this car. We're in track mode now with track exhaust. sport mode actually with track exhaust, so we get the exhaust in its loudest setting. Wow. Oh wow. Now in these tighter turns, you know, a lighter, more nimble car would be a better choice for sure. It's early in the morning, so I do not have any heat in these tires, and I could feel the rear end is pretty loose. Now that's why I'm driving in sport mode instead of track mode. I want traction control, I want stability control. A lot of deer on this road too, so we got to be careful. And again, we have carbon fiber wheels, so the car certainly would feel more light on its feet than steel wheels. The dual clutch is pretty good. Those upshifts were fast and instantaneous. We're going to try to get some grip on the front end here. We'll do a little trail braking. You know, most people, buyers for these cars, are not going to drive it on roads like this. There's even a drag strip mode. Oh, some animal just crossed. But these are the roads we were given, so these are the roads we're going to drive. Special thanks to Ford for giving me this press car for 30 minutes, but I'll take it. The Ford people are really nice. All right, so let's go up through the gears. We are in 7th gear. So at 7th gear, going 57 miles an hour, we're at 1400 RPM. Obviously, that's geared for gas mileage. We have a boost gauge here. We're driving in manual mode because why wouldn't we? Now, if I look in my rearview mirror, all I see is this wing. So if this was a police officer behind you, you probably would not see anything. All right, we're going to go down to the gears. Now, there's a dip here that we have to go really slow. We have the carbon fiber package here, the track pack, which adds about $18,000 to it. We got it really slow. All right, so we're gonna get on the highway now once these dips are over. And we'll do some acceleration. And then we'll turn around and take those roads back. All right, let's do some acceleration here. Cold tires, so we got to be a little careful. Now, when you have acceleration like this, you need brakes, and we did have good brakes. This is a fun car. This, honestly, even though I'm a diehard manual guy, it's very good with the dual clutch, and I see why they did it. Just to get performance numbers and be competitive with, say, the C8 Corvette, you know, 911s, even though you're probably not cross-shopping those two cars, but you could for, you know, you're probably decided already if you're a Chevy or Ford guy, but they got to keep up with the C8, which also has a good dual clutch. All right, now the downshifts there were very, very good. Impressive so far, for sure. Here we go. First gear. Now somehow we went in auto mode there, so to get us the quickest possible acceleration, it short shifted first and second to get me into third. So we still went really fast there, and now, like any automatic transmission, it's finding the higher gears. Now if we want to go back in manual, All we do is hit this M button here and we're golden. And now we're back in manual. All right, here's a spot where we could do some acceleration. We're gonna let this car go and then we're gonna accelerate, turn around, and we'll hit the twisties. We were fighting for traction there. Now when wow. Now, because it's got so much power and more importantly, more torque, we're in sport mode, so it gives us a little leeway with traction and stability control. Let's see how the dual clutch downshifts here. Very good. Now we're doing manual mode, so we're actually doing it. I'm pulling the paddle and it's downshifting. Pretty smooth. I think it's doing smoother. I think it's kind of giving you the effect of, you know, like the Ferrari does, tries to give you some urgency to it so you feel more visceral. All right, let's go. All right, so we're gonna accelerate. Of course, it dumps us in the fast lane, but we don't care. So we had a little slippage there. My foot is wet and slipped off the pedal. So very powerful car. You have this big hood scoop in front of you that has to have clearance, obviously, to fit the supercharger, which looks really cool. This car feels obviously a bigger size. So I own the Fox Body GT with the cheese grater tail lights, black on black 92 GT, and I owned a 94 GT, which is an SN95. Both great cars. They were very cheap when I was a kid, so early on in my driving career, I was a big Mustang guy, and I still am. I still really like these cars. We did a bunch of Mustangs on the channel, the Mach 1, numerous GT 350s, a GT 350R, a 2013 GT convertible, manual with a Roush racing exhaust, which sounded amazing. Now, the downside of a car like this is you get behind these people who want to go 5 miles an hour on the turns here. So we're gonna probably take a little break and come back and let him get a little bit of a head start. So now pricing on this car, I have the window sticker. This has about 20,000 in options. So as equipped with the carbon fiber pack, which is roughly 18,500, the sticker on this car with a little option here and there was $97,000. So it starts at 76,000. And goes up from there. So you can really probably get one of these for about 80,000, which would be a steal. Now let's try to drive it in automatic mode here while we wait for this slow guy to stop ruining our video. Now we're in drive, so we press the manual button again. It put us in D over here, and we were ready to go. All right, so now it's upshifting. So if we go down slower speeds, that minivan's gonna go 5 miles an hour, I can tell you right now. So if we're gonna start out in first gear, it puts us in auto. All right, so if we start from first gear, just a very casual start in auto mode, which is how most people are gonna drive it. We were in third gear by 22 miles an hour. Let's see when it upshifts to fourth. I'm going very light on the throttle. Fourth is 32 miles an hour. Now, you're like, well, why are you driving this way? You're gonna have to drive this way because you're gonna run out of gas. Luckily, gas prices are coming down, thank God. The highest I paid was like $5.85 here in New Jersey for 93. So at the East Coast, we have 93. Like others of you on the western part of the country, we're at about 1,000 feet of elevation. To us, this is in the hills and the mountains. I know people in Utah laugh at me. So fifth gear, we went to fifth gear in the 40s. Now we're gonna have some turns coming up here. I'm just trying to, minivan is so slow, so I'm trying to give him a little bunker because we'll catch him in the first turn, I promise you. So now if I brake, let's see if it downshifts me. Yes, so it downshifted me pretty quick. We went down 2 quick gears from 39 miles an hour to 31. We dropped from fifth to third. So that's one advantage of a dual clutch transmission. Obviously, we can change the gears very quickly going up or down. So now I'm gonna put it in manual mode and I'm gonna upshift on purpose. I'm gonna put it in fifth And I'm gonna hold the paddle. It's telling me that's too high, that's 39 miles an hour. If I hold the paddle, yep, so I held the paddle for a little longer than a second, and it went from 5th to 2nd, which was pretty cool. Now you do feel the weight of the car, and you do feel the front end washing out here, so there is some understeer, but there's also oversteer. So when these Cup 2 tires are cold, you know, with the carbon fiber wheels, make it light on his feet, but the Cup 2 need heat on them to work properly. So if you were on this road, like we just were, you need heat in these tires. You'll skid right off the cliff and nobody will find you till next spring, I promise you. Cell phones don't even work up here. All right, so now a nice downshift into 2nd. So far I really like this dual clutch. They did a fantastic job. I think the only other Ford we were in with the dual clutch was the new Ford GT when we drove it on the track. Actually, I didn't drive it. I was a passenger, a Ford racing driver. All right. So the forte for this is where we just were, wide open roads, accelerating on the highway, having some fun. This is not the best roads for this car, to be fair. This is much better suited to an S2000, a Miata, which we may drive later today, even a 911, something where we can really more nimble, and we could, it has grip, but it's just, it's not the car. I'm being judicious with the throttle, just feeding it, because we got to have heat in those Cup 2. So something to think about. This car in its element would be absolutely phenomenal. Here, you just have to make sure you're careful because the car is so powerful. All right, and that's the end of our video. So as always, leave a comment below what you thought of this video and what car you want me to review next. As soon as I have enough people for that car, I'll try to go out and find it. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Special thanks to Ford, and I love this car and highly recommend it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.